We were not dealing with a law enforcement operation. We were dealing with a domestic counterinsurgency operation. That was what was happening within the United States. You had a coordinated, well-funded insurgent movement happen on American soil, and ICE and Border Patrol were the tip of the spear in attempting to crush that insurgency. We started doing things that had never been done before from immigration enforcement perspective and a law enforcement perspective. Like what HSI was doing to deal with the left-wing insurgency. The first big dust-up was in Los Angeles with the big riots in the summer of 2025. That was when we realized that something else was happening here. That wasn't just your average riot or protest against immigration enforcement. It was a violent, funded, committed group of people spread all over the country whose number one goal was to prevent the administration from deporting illegal aliens. Actually, there was an individual that I worked with quite a bit within ICE who said, we are doing COIN. We are not doing...
What's COIN?
COIN is the acronym for counterinsurgency. It is what we were doing in Iraq and Afghanistan. A lot of veterans, actually, of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, more so than anybody else, recognized what they were dealing with.
You're saying within the organization, a lot of those people that had done it overseas are like, hey, this isn't a protest.
I will never forget when I was in Minneapolis and I was talking to just a average ICE officer, and he said, yeah, this is basically just Afghanistan with fewer bombs.
One of the fears in Chicago specifically was the influence of Mexican drug cartels. Did you ever see or hear of a connection below the border that was concerning to law enforcement?
The cartels were deeply involved in a lot of these problems. At the street level, the amount of individuals we picked up that had cartel ties that we knew of. People who were living in the United States scot-free for years at a time, who never got arrested because the last administration didn't care to arrest them, who we knew were associated with a Mexican drug cartel. The coordinating body of a lot of these riots in these different neighborhoods was the cartel. These gangs were buying cars, like old junkers, and they would put a sticker on the car to designate it as a cartel or gang car. And they would take that car and drive it at full speed and smash into the first Border Patrol or ICE vehicle that they could find. So they essentially were using guided missiles in the form of a SUV against law enforcement, and that was financed by drug cartels. And the cartel structure within the United States, not unlike the left-wing infrastructure, is they operate through cutouts. This goes back to the counterinsurgency point. We had a command center set up with TVs everywhere. People at the room was packed with people just sitting at computers, doing looking for tracking down aliens or working on different organizations or finding people who had assaulted law enforcement officers. They were reviewing footage of the riots, anything you can think of. They had live video feeds all around the building. We had Black Hawk helicopters that were had live camera footage going back. We had drones. It was crazy.
How do you deport and remove 50 million? Is there even the will to do that?
Yeah, there are two elements to this. There's the will question, and then there's the capability question. We have the capability to do it, actually.
You think so?
Yes. Now, do we have the capability to find, arrest, and remove every single illegal alien with about 30,000 ICE officers, supplemented by about 15 to 20,000 Border Patrol agents? No, the number just doesn't work out. However, there are things that Congress and the administration can do to encourage people to leave on their own, and that has been happening. There are far more self-deportations than there are actual arrests and removals. Congress can do it right now. They can pass a bill tomorrow saying remittance taxes are now at 80%, 90%, 99%, 100%. You can do it at 100%. You can confiscate every cent. But we go back to the will question. That political will just clearly does not exist in this Congress.